Joining me now is Walter Dorn, Professor of Defense Studies at the Royal Military College of Canada. Professor, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Renee.
Now, Israel has announced a military operation resulted in the deaths of 3 hostages. How difficult is it for the IDF to continue fighting Hamas without suffering any more civilian casualties?
It's very difficult. These Israelis who were killed were either escaped from the Hamas or they were released. And when the Israeli soldiers have to figure out who is who, they don't have the usual indications that you'd have with friendly fire between soldiers. They just had this white shirt. And so it was really difficult to distinguish. And right now, Israel is taking a very offensive approach to the military operations in Gaza. So, when things are moving, the first idea is that these will be Hamas fighters. So the Israeli soldiers, unfortunately, and for them, they must feel absolutely terrible that they killed Israeli citizens.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned the white shirt or a white cloth that they were holding up. There are reports, at least. What do you make of that? That these people were holding this white cloth, which is the sign of surrender.
Right. Yeah. So the danger is that Hamas might use those kind of symbols to lure Israeli forces into coming out in the open and then shooting at them. So Israel will find itself in situations where it has to be very skeptical. And we don't really know the tactical situation of the soldier that shot these people. And so we don't know whether they saw the white flag or how long they saw it. In those kind of situations, it's so at the spur of the moment decision making that it's very difficult. But there's no doubt that Israel has to tell its soldiers the rules of engagement should be much more stringent so that they cannot make these kind of mistakes again.
Do you think this will pressure Israel into changing its military strategy?
I think so. The effect on the Israeli government of the tragedy, that they were supposed to be rescuing the hostages, instead they killed them, that is a huge psychological effect. And it will probably do as much as all the U.S. pressure and all the concern for the Gazan civilians on the Netanyahu government to take measures to make sure that they aren't killing the hostages. And their bombing is quite indiscriminate. And there's many tunnels in which there are hostages underneath, and many of those tunnels are being destroyed by the Israeli bombing. So there's a huge risk that hostages are being killed inside the tunnels.
Professor of Defense Studies at the Royal Military College of Canada, Walter Dorn. Unfortunately, our time has run out, but we thank you very much for your insights today.
Thank you, Renee.